The way I took it was that it's not going to happen.
That's the way I took it too.
That's how I read it.
That's what I took too. But
if you trade Mike Hoffman for him, maybe, but I don't know.
There's a salary difference there. Hall makes 8. So
yeah, and the other issue is like why just make Buffalo doesn't make that trade. You want a guy on a 1-year deal for another guy on a 1-year deal. It doesn't make sense because Hoffman.
No.
Hoffman's going to leave at the end of the season, right. So you need some assurance that you're going to get something out of that trade.
Yeah, I mean, it would have to involve, prospects the Blues don't have and picks the Blues shouldn't give up.
Right.
Yeah, you know what though? I mean, Hall's numbers this season, he has 2 goals. I don't. I mean, he makes $8 million. Granted, he is a much better player than what he's produced this year. His past history shows that, and he's on a shit ass team, so that does not help at all. So that's got to affect his numbers quite a bit. So, but
Kurt, let me ask you a serious question.
I'll give you a serious answer.
If you played in the NHL, let's just say the Edmonton Oilers were just like, we're going to give a fan a chance to play the entire season with Connor McDavid. Weird promotion. Let's say they do it. Do you think you score more than 2 goals if you're on Connor McDavid's line the whole season?
Do I get to practice for like a year before I play?
You can practice as much as Connor McDavid practices.
No, I wouldn't get. I'm not going to say I would score more than 2 goals. I would like to think I could, but no, there's no way in hell. No. Is that a serious question? There's no way.
I'm gonna say yes.
You would score more than 2 goals if you play with Connor McDavid.
I think if you put me on the power play with Connor McDavid, and I just stood in front of the net, he's gonna shoot it off my leg more than twice.
Have you ever faced an NHL goalie? Much less an NHL defense?
I've played an NHL defenseman, but I have not played against an NHL goalie, no. Grant Ledyard, I've played against him.
Oh, yeah?
He's a hell of a defenseman.
And there are better ones.
Yes, that is true.
Div by Zero says, actually the stream stopped. Shouldn't have.
Yeah, it's spinning on my end.
It says it's good here. Maybe it's let me see. Oh wait, maybe it no, hold on. Let's see.
Did you clean your inner tubes today?
Yeah, it may have stopped. Wait, no, hold on. Huh. Well, apparently it still says it's good here. That's weird. It says streaming, the connection's good, the bandwidth's good. It still says we're live. Stage 10.
We're good on Facebook as well.
It's still going? Okay. It still says both feeds are good, Facebook and YouTube. Maybe have you Div by Zero, have you checked the gigabytes on your computer? I don't know, refresh your screen if see if that helps. I don't know. I'm at a loss. All I can tell you is what I see in front of me, and it says that our stream is live. It's 1:43:10, 1:43:11. And everything's up.
Yeah, I just refreshed and the stream seems like it's working.
Okay. All right. Maybe a hiccup. I don't know. Where are we at? Where do we leave off at? Yeah, Hall has 2 goals, 16 assists this season, and a team that's the worst team in the league. So, I mean, would you want Hall? I mean, if we could get him for, what I mean, because like I said, his production's down. Maybe you get him for cheap because it's just a rental. You're not getting like 2 years on his contract still. And it's Buffalo. They make bad trades.
It's a tough question. You got to think that because you want to say that there's no way on this roster that Taylor Hall doesn't score more than 2 goals to finish out the season, let alone what they've already played. But this roster is struggling to score goals.
Mm-hmm.
Taylor Hall has been playing with Jack Eichel for much of the season. Casey Middlestad is an okay center as well, and he's been playing with him too. It's really hard to say no to just see what would happen, but I mean, do you take that risk
for this season? I mean, really, if you're going to address a need on this team, if Parayko's healthy, maybe you don't have to worry about it, but I'd go defense first.
Yeah. Okay.
At the least, I'd like to see the team look into I don't want to say replacement for Parayko, but somebody who can play and cut down his minutes when he comes back. I'd rather see that type of player brought in other than a Taylor Hall.
I'll rephrase my question. If we were to acquire Taylor Hall in a trade, and the overwhelming consensus on that trade was, hey, the Blues won this trade, like as soon as it's announced, we didn't have to give very much to get him. Now we do have to lose salary somewhere because we got guys come off LTIR. It's going to affect that. So, but still, again, I think for me it depends on what we give up. I think I'd be all over it if we didn't have to give up a lot. And if I could say, oh, okay, I think we won that trade, regardless of how he plays. I mean, if he plays, well and helps out, I think we win the trade. Even if he leaves the end of the season, meaning we don't give up a lot to get him, which may not happen. But still, if that's the case, then I would be all over it. Just because I like anarchy and chaos and drama. I have said that before. Berube, Craig Berube is some rumblings about fans wanting him fired due to his misuse of players and the lack of production and stuff like that, which we talked about. I mean, you do kind of like when you acquire players that have certain skill sets and you don't play to those skill sets, and you kind of just look over at the coach and you're like, oh, what's going on? What are you doing? I think it's just fans being fans, but I do think he's misused Hoffman, but I don't think Berube is in any serious, not seriously in jeopardy of losing his job until, I don't know, midway through next season if the team is still struggling.
I don't know. I think if they go winless the rest of this season,
well,
maybe you consider that. But I think right now, way.
Yeah, right now, no. If they just wind up shitting the bed and missing the playoffs, I think
they easily
it's a very real possibility. I think
a lot of people are picking them to miss the playoffs.
Right. I think Army's got a tough decision to make there.
You guys basically did last week too. You guys basically picked him to miss the playoffs last week.
Bill,
I did.
I think Bill did for sure. I was.
Kurt, you took the other way just because you wanted to take the other way.
Did.
You couldn't even offer an explanation.
Well, my explanation is that this team has the ability to play better. I think everyone knows that. On paper, they're a very good team when healthy, and they're getting healthy. And if they can get Parayko back, if they get a healthy Parayko back, if they get the same Parayko back they had before, I mean, he has a body, and he might play okay, but he's not going to play like Parayko.
Listen, I know that he is a great defenseman, but one player, they should have been able to take at least 3 points from Anaheim this past weekend.
Oh, I agree, and they
didn't.
I know, and they played well enough too, and I wouldn't necessarily put that on Parayko not being in the lineup, even though
exactly
a dynamic player can change an awful lot. We all know that. I mean, the team's record with and without Schwartz is just crazy different. But I mean, they played a very good game. They played a good defensive game against Anaheim. Goaltending wasn't bad. It was pretty good. And the offense just could not. I mean, we've got tons of shots on goal. They played well. They looked better. They just couldn't score. I mean, they had 74 shots on net in the 2 games against Anaheim, and they had 3 goals. So I mean, I think my stance with it, if I were to bet money, did I say this last week? If I'm a betting man, I'm betting my hard-earned money. I'm not picking them to make the playoffs. But if you just ask me, I'm saying, well, you know what? I think they can. I'm hopeful. I'm optimistic. I'm an optimist, so I'll just play off that. I'd rather spend my last month plus of this season for the team before playoffs, thinking they have a chance to make the playoffs and actually rooting for something as opposed to not. But yeah, it could be a futile effort, which they could very easily, like I said, very easily miss the playoffs because their schedule in April is a bitch, and they have to basically play well in that schedule.
Right.
I just want to add Kurt's comments last week because I did listen to the show because you guys do such a good job without me, much better than when I'm here. But Kurt, your comment last week about February, that was the same thing I was thinking. February 2019.
Yeah,
we went into that month after they had a great January when Bennington stepped in, and we said they've got to play 500 hockey to even have a chance at the playoffs. They went wasn't it like
they lost like
14
2 or 3 games? Yeah,
it was like 14-1 or something in February.
Yeah,
it was ridiculous. So it would be insanity for me to say they're going to repeat that. I don't think that's going to happen. That exact thing.
Yeah, well, they don't need to do that.
No, they don't. They just have to play, like we said then, 500 hockey.
Maybe better.
And I think they could make it with 500 hockey.
They could, if they get some help. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think they could do it. It's just a matter of finding their game and playing. We said it before, playing against their competition, playing to the level of their competition.
Which they haven't
if they can,
done all season.
No, they haven't. But if they can do it now, that's all they need to do.
And like I said, it's more of an optimistic thing. It's not based on anything they've done this season. It's based on what I think this team is capable of. And it's do or die now or never. I mean, if you're not going to play well now, then fuck you. You're done. So,
yeah, I think going back to the thought about Berube, if this team doesn't make the playoffs, I think if so trade deadline's less than 12 days away now. If we go into Colorado and don't come away with any points, I think we're probably thinking more about being sellers. You got to think the Blues aren't going to want to carry the second highest salary cap into a non-playoff season. Somebody or some bodies will get gone, and then you have to consider, is what do we want this team to be, and is Berube the right guy going forward?
I guess real quick, there were some waves made on with the Carolina Hurricanes. They posted their Pride Night. Hockey is for everyone. They had a nice post on social media, and I think the Blues have struggled with this in the past, recent past, as far as being promoting and pushing the idea that the NHL is inclusive, or hockey should be inclusive and for everyone. And there was a fallout with the Blues and the way they handled Pride Night a couple of years ago, where they just screwed over the people who had bought tickets to Pride Night, and they changed the name of it, all that crap. They ditched the idea of it. But so the Hurricanes have always been a team that has really taken the ball and run with it. The hockey is for everyone, and the Pride Night and everything. And they're proud of it, and that's something that I think a lot of Blues fans wished that the Blues would follow in Carolina's footsteps, and do that. I'm one of them. I know others aren't, but it's a sensitive issue with some people for some reason, because really it doesn't make a lot of sense to me why some people would be so against this or indifferent to whether a team should promote this or not. Because it's really, there's nothing negative about this message. It is a completely 100% positive message, with hockey being for everyone and celebrating inclusivity in hockey and who you are. So I mean, I think that's a personal problem that some people probably struggle with to not accept that mentality, I think. And that's something they have to deal with. But I think that I wish that the Blues, I'm not telling the Blues to, because they can do whatever they want. Obviously, the Blues can do whatever they want with this, barring, this is a core initiative of the NHL. So the Blues are going to do something with it, but how far they go with it is a different story. But I'm of the opinion that the Blues absolutely should be setting an example for inclusivity with Pride Night and Hockey is for Everyone, because somebody give me a good reason why not to. Aside from not wanting to see certain imagery at a game.
You speak for the entire show here, Bill. I think you can agree with that, right? That we agree with you 100%. That we've talked on the show before that the whole Pride Night thing, I don't know if that was last year or 2 years ago, whenever that was.
It was 2 years ago. Last year they had one scheduled. It was the watch party that they
right,
the away game watch party that was supposed to be.
Yeah, so it was 2 years ago where they basically were like, oh, it's Pride Night, and then it came to it and it was Hockey is for Everyone night. Ha ha ha! We changed it, even though you can still look it up on our website and it still says Pride Night.
And they said they never promoted it as Pride Night, but they did, and they sold tickets.
Yeah, clearly did. But anyway, we've talked about that to extent on this show. I completely 100% fist bump the Carolina Hurricanes. That is what I want to see from my NHL team. It's a shame. And I can speak as a Missourian that it's not just the Blues that I see this. It's all over the entire state. I hate that this is such an issue with so much of our state, and it really bothers me because, like you said, it's not you're not trying to get into any religious debate by just saying hockey is for everyone, Pride Night. You're not getting into some biblical debate about this. It's just, it's the right thing to do. It's, I don't know. I get so infuriated and frustrated when I see arguments about this, because it's just, you're trying to prove that this is the way the world is moving. This is how people are. And if you want people to be proud of themselves and what they do, accept them for who they are. And the fact that this is become a political issue is ridiculous. That's not what this is at all. So, Bill, I'll let you speak this now, but I'm ashamed when I see a team like the Carolina Hurricanes, which, let's face it, Carolina, that's an area that is very similar to Missouri. And they're doing the right thing right now. And we're not seeing the Blues do this. And I'm not even saying the Blues have to come out of their way to do anything like this. It's the fact that they have done everything in their power to
distance themselves.
Refute. Yeah, to not do something like this.
Right. Yeah, I think, the whole idea of having things like Pride Nights, it is about inclusion, and it's just it boggles my mind that any for-profit enterprise would not want to be as inclusive as possible. I mean, just you want as many customers as you can get from every walk of life. You don't want to exclude people, and when you have debacles like the it's not Pride night a couple of years ago, it becomes a thing about excluding and not embracing a certain segment of your fan base out of fear that you're going to offend another segment of your fan base. I think for the Blues, it comes down to really, I think they're trying to read the tea leaves of area politics, and it just, it, it, I do not, I would much rather see the team, embrace it and be inclusive and welcome everybody. It's one of the biggest knocks that hockey as a whole gets is that it's a white person sport. It's a white male sport, and yeah, we're three white guys talking on a podcast, but we're not the guys that are going to say, we don't want, LGBTQ people coming into the arena. Whoever wants to come watch a hockey game, come watch a hockey game, be a part of this. And for any for-profit organization to turn people away because they're worried about offending another part of their fan base, that's just that's behind the times.
I think and it's not even I just think that if you're not on board with this, you're just on the wrong side of history. I think that like you said, Jeff,
Yes.
it's just the way things are going, and it's the right way, and it's a long time coming. It is interesting, and like I said, I would love to hear somebody tell me why they don't think the Blues should do this. And good luck, sounding. What's the word I could use? Good luck sounding intelligent if you're going to try and argue against it. So
yeah, the thing is, you would get a lot of people in that debate, and it would be things that you wouldn't want your name attached to, because it's just going to be parlor.
And a lot of people are like, well, the Blues, they can do whatever they want. It's not up to me to tell them what to do. I'm like, no, nobody's telling them what to do. I'm like, we would just love to see them do this because it is the right thing to do. There's no, I don't know how that's up for debate. To not embrace and promote inclusion, which a lot of people, and hockey has a bad reputation, like you said, for especially recently with a lot of abuse and racism in the minor leagues and things coming up the ranks. They've had a number of stories the past few years that it's been a bad PR, a bad black eye. And that's all the more reason to get behind this push to embrace this, because to tell people, hey, this is not, that's not what we want to be associated with. We don't. I mean, if you believe some former players and coaches that experienced it, I mean, it was kind of bad in some areas. So, I mean, it's just something that is a no-brainer to me, and I just don't know why the Blues. And I guess I do know why, because the rumor was that some season ticket holders, or many of them, or whatever, complained, and I don't know if that's been backed up or whatever, but that they didn't want to see Pride Night imagery and things like that at a night in the arena. And that's why last year they decided, we'll have a watch party for an away game. That way the season ticket holders don't have to miss a home game, and people can come and they can see it. Whoever wants to come. It's a watch party, it's a away game. And it was a really big fiasco mess. So even they got national news. So anyway,
and I'll add real quick as a uncle of somebody who for as long as I knew him was my niece until high school. And all of a sudden I was told it's that she wasn't her. She didn't feel that she was a girl, and she's felt that way her whole life, that she was actually a man. I instantly, like, it kind of messed with me mentally and made me rethink everything I've thought about this whole process. And I can sit here and say, well, you've got to be inclusive. You got to be inclusive. And obviously the battle in my mind was, you're a girl. Stop telling me you're a boy. You're a girl. And I don't mean to get too deep here, but I've come to terms with the fact that no, he knows what he is. He's a boy. He's a boy, been living in a girl's body. And this is something that was new to me, and it made me realize that this is a real thing. This isn't just something we're hearing about. Like, for me, it's something that I've actually experienced and I've witnessed. And I just, this type of message, this is what the NHL needs to be pushing forward. I'm glad to see news coming forward. I just wish the Blues followed suit, because it is a big identity crisis for so many people, especially young people going through this, and seeing the Carolina Hurricanes coming ahead here. It's something you want to see from your team.
The Blues were a part of it. They embraced it 3 years ago. And then all of a sudden 2 years ago, at the last second, like just a few days before, they did an about face on it. So something happened. Something happened.
And I have to believe that if it's honestly, if it's driven by season ticket holders balking, this is the time that you say, okay, we have a wait list.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Thanks for your patronage, but this, you're not making this decision for us.
It could be that. It could be, a top exec or a new somebody new or whatever. I don't know. It just, it could be a number of things.
Not handled well.
No, not. It's just
so. Shall we move on to rapid fire tidbits?
Well, I think we're gonna skip over rapid fire tidbits because we got
all right.
We're long.
Connor McDavid elbow, clean or dirty?
Dirty.
Yeah, deserved more than a $5,000 fine. But I'm watching right now. I'm watching a GIF of Nathan McKinnon throwing Connor Garland's helmet at his head. Oh. So, I mean, it's a softball underhand pitch, but it hits him. Yeah. I think he's got to at least have a fine himself.
$5,000 fine.
But
all right, Buffalo Sabres.
How about a 2-game suspension?
Yeah, how about Buffalo Sabres? Buffalo Sabres, are they going to make the playoffs after their big win tonight?
Yeah, right. That's a big negative there.
There's our rapid fire hockey tidbits, everybody.
Yeah, they broke their 18-game losing streak. Thanks for close the show up. Support for Let's Go Blues Radio is brought to you in part by Manscaped, the best in men's blow-away grooming products. Get 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com with code LGB. There's gold at the end of the rainbow with Manscaped. That's old. And by ID Life, the world's only truly personalized vitamin platform based on a health assessment of your DNA. Visit rockinthatidlife.com for more information. That's rockinthatidlife.com to get 10% off by texting Dustin at 636-393-8745 and tell him Let's Go Blues Radio sent you. And by Center Ice Brewery, St. Louis's hockey-themed brewery. Visit centericebrewery.com to schedule a no-contact curbside pickup or to make a reservation in their awesome tap room. While you're there and enjoying a number of their fantastic beers, you can admire the bar top and tables made of authentic arena wood. Located at 3126 Olive Street in Midtown St. Louis, it's one of the best places to watch a Blues game. That's centericebrewery.com. Please drink responsibly. That'll wrap up episode 20, what are we on, 28, 29? I think it's 29, of season 9 of the original St. Louis Blues Hockey Podcast, Let's Go Blues Radio. Thanks for listening, and thanks to those who participated in the YouTube and Facebook live chats during the live show. We hope you enjoyed it as much as we've enjoyed bringing it to you. For Jeff Ponder, Bill Day, I'm Kurt Price. Until next time, everyone, beat Colorado. Let's go Blues.
Let's go Blues.
Let's go Blues.
The Chiefs are at home tonight against Sport at the War Memorial at 8. Good seats are still available.
A look at sports.
I think that went very well.
Thank you for listening to Let's Go Blues Radio. Now take off, hosers.
I want you to have a heart attack and die so that we never have to do this shit again.
Well, there's 90 minutes of your life you'll never get back. Sorry.
St. Louis Blues, St. Louis Blues. Have you heard the news about our St. Louis Blues? They've only just begun, they're on their way to #1.